Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Xbox North podcast. My name is Andrew Ravindran. I'm the host of the Xbox North podcast. It's our very own first ever podcast, and I'm really excited to do this. I've been dying to do this for a long time, and I finally got the three best people to convince me to finally get off my ass to do it. And I'm going to start with the first person who convinced me really hard, and his name is Joshua James. Joshua, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm doing phenomenal. And then there's the other person who's also been getting on my ass about it, and I love him for doing this. His name is Jesse Dean. How's it going, Jesse?
I'm good. How are you guys? Good to see you again. Beautiful night. Get this going. Excited to do this first podcast. It's been in planning for a little while, and I've been promoting it on the streams and stuff like that. So it's good that we actually have this now. This is real, and so we've started it, and it's awesome. It's good.
Yeah, and thank you for promoting on the stream because I noticed when you were playing, we kept saying it and we kept putting it off. And we were finally doing it, and then last, my boy Dan Robertson. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, not too bad.
Yeah,
doing pretty good. Excited to be here.
Nice. Well, yeah. As I said, my name is Andrew Ravindran, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself, and I'm going to share it to my other my other three members. I'm one of them. I'm Andrew Ravindran. I'm a filmmaker based in Toronto, Ontario. I've been playing Xbox since I was a kid. It was the very first ever real gaming experience when I grew up. Xbox is now 20 years old. It's a new kid on the block, but maybe not so much anymore. You've had Nintendo for a longest time. You've had Sony, and then we had Sega that came up, but Xbox was always my life, and it was a very important moment to me because when I came here in Canada, my parents never bought me a console, and I begged my mom for the longest time, "Mom, please, I just want a system." And I kept begging her for a PlayStation 2, not an Xbox. But my mom went to the store, and she was like, "Okay, I'm going to get him the system that has 2 extra games in the bundle." And so she got it to me, and I was convincing my mom to be like, "Hey, can we trade this back? I don't want this. I don't know anything about this." And like all my friends were all PlayStation fans. And so I got it. And then what ended up happening was that we had Star Wars Clone Wars and Tetris. And I can talk nonstop about Tetsuya Mitsuguchi and his Tetris games. But the thing that kind of got to me was a few months later, we begged our mom to get another game, and it was Halo. And Halo changed my life forever. And I think that was one of the reasons why we all three kind of connected, because we all three have a great central connection to Halo. Halo brought us together. It's got one of the greatest stories, one of the greatest heroes of all time, and it's got phenomenal lore and obviously the multiplayer. So, that came about, and then, I'm obviously one of my favorite games of all time came about a year later called Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm sure a few of you guys want to talk about that too. Right now, I am currently playing a few games. One that Josh actually pushed me to, and I'm sure down the road we're going to probably do some Xbox ID stuff and some indie game showcase, but I'm playing Narita Boy, and that is phenomenal. We will talk about it soon, Josh. I do want to talk about it with you because I know you're
absolutely
touching on it. But that's what I'm playing currently right now. Let me start with you, Jesse. Tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us how you became an Xbox gamer.
So I am Jesse Dean, and I would consider myself an Xbox gamer, and I have a background in audio engineering. Is what I took school doing, and so pretty much my journey starts with the Sega Genesis. Is when I first started gaming. That was my very first console, was a Sega Genesis in 1994, and the first games that I had were Street Fighter, and
Awesome.
Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, and Joe Montana's NFL Football 94, and I played the heck of those games, and eventually I got a PlayStation 1 and absolutely played all the magnificent games that came with those, the RPGs, the Final Fantasies, everything, shooters, everything that came on that console. It was a very fun console. To the point that when the PlayStation 2 was going to come out, I had every intention to get a PlayStation 2, and especially Grand Theft Auto. I mean, talking about it with my buddies in high school. That was the Rave, and then a machine called Xbox or Microsoft formed the company Xbox, and my buddy was talking about it because we were reading the gaming magazines, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty interesting that they're starting. It's kind of cool." At the time, there, I was like, "I don't know how they're going to really compete with like Nintendo and PlayStation right now." It was kind of like all right, whatever. Right? In high school, I was 100% all for getting that PlayStation 2. And then one day, my cousin invited me over to his buddy's house, and he had an Xbox. He happened to have an Xbox, and so they're doing their thing, and I turn on the TV and I turn on the Xbox. The very first Xbox game that I played was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, the third-person game. That was the very first, and you know what? I was blown away by it because it was a next-gen game. It had right? Yeah. Oh, I know, but it had the 3D graphics, and then trying to learn on the Duke, the controllers, right? It was just a totally different experience from the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful controller.
Right? Yeah,
I remember those big ass controllers.
Exactly. And this was like first edition.
Yeah.
And then I put that aside, and then I picked up the next game, which was Halo, and as soon as it got to the screen, that was it. My entire trajectory of gaming completely changed, and the next couple of days, because I was I wanted to get an Xbox, so I was working for co-op, my school. I was doing a carpentry co-op, and so the job that I was working at said, Jesse, we can't we just can't have you earn these credits for free. We have to pay you. So I was earning the credit and getting paid at the same time, which was really cool. So I was like 16, 17. So go to Walmart, get buy my Xbox. I put it on layaway. That's back then when they had layaway, so I could pay towards the console, and eventually earned my Xbox console, and I've had every single Xbox console since then. I've been an Xbox fan, and I've always liked what they did. I've always thought that they were on the revolutionary side in terms of just multiplayer. The reason why multiplayer games are so successful on the console is because of Xbox Live and the work that team did, because the competition had to catch up to that eventually. And then with this, when they're starting Game Pass and this game service, and we're looking at streaming and all this stuff, and they are the leaders of it, and it truly is probably going to be the way people play games in the future. That future, I hope, is a good distance away, because I still like my console and everything like that, and there it is. And so that brought me to streaming. When I bought the Series X, it was just having that machine, and it just reminding me how much I loved gaming and playing all these backward compatible games, and I was just like, wow, let's try streaming this, and started streaming from the console, and now we're doing okay. Our channel's growing, and we're here now. We're making a podcast too, so it's very exciting. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Two-part question. What's your favorite game of all time, and what are you playing right now?
My favorite game of all time is The Witcher 3, hands down. And all its DLCs, by far is the best RPG experience that I've ever experienced in my time of gaming. It is the most complete package. It has everything that you want in an RPG. And then, hey, you jump into that game right now. It's so polished. It's just it stands the test of time of being one of the best RPGs. It is the best RPG of last generation, in my opinion, of course, right? Other people, they have their opinions, and which is the best RPG as of each generation. Right now, I'm definitely playing a lot of Mass Effect, because I'm streaming Mass Effect, as well as on the side I'm playing Titanfall, and I've been Titanfall 2. Sorry, I've been having a blast with that, and also Ghostbusters, the game. I'm loving it because it is the official Ghostbusters 3. It is all the original cast. It is all the original writers. It is them. They just couldn't get movie rights, so they said, you know what? Let's make it a game. Everybody's in it. Everybody's in it. Even Peck is in it. It's just Slimer. Everybody's in it. It's just a really fun experience. It's a great third person kind of shooter, well, proton packer, if you could say, right? It's just it's not on Game Pass, but I do recommend. It's about $9 or $10. I recommend giving that a try because it looks beautiful in HDR. The controls hold up. I recommend that game, and that's what I'm playing right now. Those 3 games at the top of my head.
I'm gonna check it out. I'll check it out for sure. Dan, all right, tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are, and tell us how you became an Xbox gamer.
I'm Dan Robertson. I work in IT, so I work pretty close with all the back-end Microsoft stuff for enterprise edition
Nice.
things, and yeah. So that's always fun. But I ended up getting into that by kind of through gaming because I started PC gaming way back when I was like super little and probably should not have been watching my dad play Doom. But
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
definitely
so
did a wee
classic.
bit of that.
It's
And
just
I remember.
just monsters.
Oh yeah, exactly. I for some reason I haven't been able to find the mod anywhere, but I have a distinct memory of like an evil Barney mod that he had. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh wow.
But I haven't been able to find it since, so I could just be imagining things. I was pretty little, but I started getting more and more into gaming after I was visiting my uncle at his place, and he had his gaming PC set up and everything, and he was playing the very first Call of Duty.
Oh wow.
And I ended up playing a lot of that over there.
Phenomenal game. Phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it was amazing back then. I don't play them
Infinity
as
Ward?
much now. I ended up having issues when they brought out like the nuke and everything, and like I found there was a lot of games just like guys just knifing each other and their friends and whatever, and just nuking the whole map, and then the game's over. And I was like, nah, like I'm not gonna do that. But the campaign I always loved.
Me too.
That was one of the best parts about it. So
Yeah.
I'm a PC or I'm a gamer dad and everything too. So I got 2 little guys that are learning how to game slowly but surely. We're roping them in. There's some Disney games now and everything.
Yep.
And,
That's awesome.
yeah,
The gunk is
I
gonna
remember.
be cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or Tunic also.
Yeah,
Tunic.
Tunic. Yep.
Take a look at that.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Yeah.
I'm
Another
watching out for those
Pocoyo
ones. 'Cause,
game.
Yeah.
My
It's
son's addicted to Pocoyo, so hopefully
Yeah.
I can get that on the Switch for him.
Hopefully they're not gonna get on Peppa Pig and all that stuff because I got like,
Hopefully not.
Oh, they
No,
need
well, I'm
it.
sure they
Oh, they
will,
need
but-
it though. They
yeah.
have to. They need it.
it drives me insane, that Peppa Pig stuff.
Yeah, just wait. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not Peppa
Man.
Pig by the time, you know. I don't know.
One of the best features I found is the co-pilot mode, because like that is like a godsend for helping like the little ones through like a game or something, because like they just have no idea where to go sometimes.
Yeah.
Try it out; it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got my first Xbox. I remember like when it first came out. I think we ended up getting it like the Christmas after the first year it released. But
Yeah,
I
I think
remember
me
hearing
too.
about it and everything, and being
Too
like.
bad.
Who knows? Maybe they'll come out with something good. I mean, they've been making computers and computer games kind of for so long, so
Yeah.
like, why wouldn't they succeed at that? So we ended up getting one. Just like, it was a toss-up kind of between like Nintendo or PlayStation or Xbox, and we just ended up going with Xbox. Yeah,
Good memories after that.
been
Yep,
playing that ever
absolutely.
since.
Yeah.
All right, and the 2-part question: what's your favorite game of all time, and what are you currently playing right now?
So favorite game of all time is a hard toss-up because like the one I've probably spent, I don't know, like spent the most time on, probably equal amounts time is Morrowind when it first came out,
Oh,
and like the
Wow.
Elder
And
Scrolls
Destiny.
franchise,
And Destiny.
and well, and Halo, like Halo's what turned me on
Oh,
to
yeah, of
Destiny and
course.
everything. Like
Yeah.
Halo, I think is my favorite just because it will always have a special place in my heart. Just like
Yep.
growing up, I remember getting like groups of dudes together and getting all the as many consoles as you can, getting TVs upstairs,
LAN party
downstairs,
night.
fucking blankets so nobody can screen peek and stuff.
Oh
Like, just-
man.
oh, so much.
Or
Like,
in the apartment,
Oh,
having
yeah.
the rollout TV.
I used
and
to
the
haul.
TV over there.
exactly. Bringing
Yeah.
out all the
This duffel
TVs to the
bag with
living
the
room and
Xbox.
everything. Oh, it's so good.
Rain, snow, it didn't matter. I was going over to my buddy's house and playing Halo, man. Oh man. That's
Oh,
bringing
yeah.
back memories. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
LAN parties were always key.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and sometimes we just did our own little things because, like, you think about how you get the plasma grenade and you throw it on a warthog and you just see the spin of it. Just figuring
yeah.
out all these little small things. And
Oh, yeah.
it's just and co-op. I mean, legendary co-op.
I remember how amazing it was, like when the first guy out of the group died from like a warthog crushing him.
Yeah.
Like somebody threw a grenade or like a rocket or whatever it was, and like flipped that like warthog right on top of him, and you're like, well, like that's even happening right now? Like just like even objects and everything flying around in the game and everything, and how they like advance that to the point where you could just like, hey, you can just like go review your game now, and you can watch everything, and like what the fuck killed me in that one scene there, and it's like you can slow it down and just watch that pylon fly across the map and like smoke you in the face.
I was gonna say too many deaths from pylons.
Yeah, so many pylons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you
and like
currently
currently playing right now, I'm trying to beat, I think, the final mission and destroy all humans. It's been so long. I played the original when it first came out. It was like when I ended up being really excited for. And when I saw they had remastered it and everything, I had to play that too. So I'm trying to work my way through that.
Nice.
Working through a little bit of Wolfenstein. I got a couple of co-op games I'm working on with Josh and stuff. And we've been playing ODST on live stream.
all four of us? Yeah. Yeah.
And just way too many unfinished games to count even.
You should try
Yeah.
playing Youngblood co-op. Me and Andrew are playing that right now. And
Yeah, that's what me and Josh
having
are playing too.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
having
nice.
a blast. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
You just said Youngblood?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I didn't mention Youngblood. I'm playing the New Order myself. And then
Yeah.
me and Josh are playing co-op on that and
Youngblood,
Deep Space
Dead Space.
3. Dead Space 3.
That's yeah.
So they figured out the co-op. Me and Jesse got to figure out the co-op because
Yeah.
it's like there's some weird little issue about the co-op, and so
Oh no, we're just amazing.
Oh, right,
so.
because it was signing in and out of this weird. All right, and it was just
It
weird.
was a little tricky.
It does not
Yeah,
make
'cause
it easy. That's for
it
sure.
was during of online passes and stuff.
Yeah, like online
Yeah.
passes. I just want to play
When
the
games-
game, man.
When GameStop used games was the enemy.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's not like do they have to use a server? Are they using a server for that game still in order to have online connectivity? Is that why maybe like it's a little bit
I think you host it. I
Yeah.
think it's hosted on your end.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Probably
Josh,
internet connection.
let's we got to go with you, man. Tell us a little about yourself and how you became an Xbox gamer. Tell us your story.
All right. Well, hello. My name is Joshua James. While my gamer tag is also Falsegod. And as soon as you hear that, you think, oh, a kid who was in grade 8, right? But it might change in the future, maybe. It's a 17-year-old gamer, online Xbox Live gamer tag, so definitely has some age to it. But I'm a proud father of 2 up-and-coming, Xbox gamers as well. So they'll definitely be Xbox gamers because that's definitely the only thing that's in the house. So, what brought me to gaming? I've been playing exclusively Xbox since it came out. It's funny. The Christmas I got it was the first year it did come out, and I really wanted a GameCube. I was huge into Nintendo. I had the N64 prior to that, and that Christmas I really, really wanted a GameCube. And my mom went to EB Games, shopping for Christmas presents and was going to pick up a GameCube, but the guy, I would imagine it's probably not in stock, but the guy at EB Games said, hey, there's this new console. It's from Microsoft. It's called the Xbox, and it's more powerful. And she ended up buying it with Halo and Dead or Alive 3. Which was absolutely mind-blowing, those 2 games, especially Halo and Dead or Alive 3. The graphics were just absolutely incredible. So, when I opened it for Christmas, it was kind of, I was hooked ever since. So yeah, no, it's definitely, since I've been with the console for so long, I've definitely seen the early days of the console. I've seen its high moments of like the first iteration of the console to the 360 to the blunders at near the end of the 360 to the Xbox One, and then the kind of rise up from there. So it's been a very interesting journey, but I've stuck out with it ever since because no other console will have Halo on it, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And it's you saw what potential, you know what I mean, and it's more of it just has to be experienced rather than talked about in a magazine. You actually have to spend time with the console and the brand itself to really appreciate what it's been doing. And like I said,
yeah, I definitely have lived and breathed it. Link's the Time Sweeper, classic
the first Xbox
franchises.
Live.
Experiencing brute force and walking away.
Brute
still a
Force.
fan.
What a
Of
game!
the console, but
Awesome game.
a little shell shocked from that experience. But no.
I actually really liked that game. I thought that was so fun and.
When I was younger, I didn't mind that game, to be honest. But there's like great franchises. Like I'd love to see MechAssault come back.
Oh yeah, I remember MechAssault.
Crimson Skies was fantastic playing that as a kid.
Such a great game.
Dead to Rights.
Yeah.
So,
Dead to Rights was pretty
Dead
good.
to Rights was great. You had the dog, right?
Yeah.
It did like the Max Payne thing, but I find it was a little more like sticky.
What was the one where it was almost like it was very close to like The Thing, and you could get into these mechs, and it was in like Siberia or something like that. I wish I remembered.
I'm wondering.
Was it The Thing?
It was an
Didn't they
Xbox
make
One.
The Thing?
Pardon?
It wasn't
Spec Ops The Line.
No. It was no. Oh.
It was you just got into these small little like mechs.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering. If it was
Chrome Hounds.
No.
Yeah.
Chrome.
There was
Xbox.
do you remember that?
Well, let's just go Xbox.
We can probably list. We can probably list 100 games.
Yeah.
But
Actually,
I've been playing the console for a very, very, very long time, and absolutely love reading about Xbox. I listen to a lot of people in the industry. I love tech as well. I like cell phones, which is funny because I do that for a living as well. And I'm just, I kind of grew up in the comic book industry as well. My dad used to write comic books when I was younger, and kind of grew up going to comic conventions around artists. I love Batman. I have a tattoo of Batman, so I definitely love comic books. Is a big thing. I love DC specifically. I'm a big fan of the Snyder
Batman
movies,
movie?
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Favorite Batman.
I like
the first 1989 Batman.
Buddy, you and me, buddy. Yeah.
The first 20
Jack
minutes
Nicholson.
of that movie alone
is
just incredible. So
Yeah.
that movie
Nicholson.
still holds up. Surprisingly, Batman Return doesn't hold up so much.
No, you don't
the sequel
really.
to
I
that.
just watched it on 4K HDR. I love it. I
But
love it. Love that movie.
Danny DeVito's performance as the Penguin is still
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And Catwoman.
definitely.
Hers was
Catwoman
really
is
good.
great. Yeah.
But you're right. They didn't really develop Batman. It wasn't about him. But that's kind of been the theme, They usually start the first movie, it's Batman, and then they just move on to other characters, and then Batman is just part of the world that's evolving around these characters.
Yeah. Are you guys hearing rumblings about an Arkham movie adaptation, like an Arkham Asylum movie adaptation now that's going on? You guys, I'll send you links about it because there's some.
You
Absolutely.
better.
I mean, obviously, we can talk about the Arkham games, but that's a story on its own.
We're here to talk about games.
Yeah.
We will.
Oh yes. Oh, and I haven't forgot. Josh, what's your favorite game of all time, and what are you currently playing right now?
Also, my absolute favorite game and franchise is, of course, as we all, I think I've said it, Halo. I've been playing that game since day one. Well, I guess not day one because I did get it for Christmas, so not technically day one, but definitely in that window.
Yeah.
From the original console.
Yeah,
some people have just started playing it on PC.
Yeah.
So, and I can't wait for Infinite later this year. Pretty much tells you my favorite game and my most anticipated game right there. So, and I'm currently playing Alien Isolation. Actually, I'm very surprised how absolutely amazing that game is. And I was playing it for about a week, and then the FPS boost titles, like the 57 titles they put out, or the huge list where it was like 76 or something. I don't know. But the Aliens Isolation was part of that. So I was playing at 30 frames for the first little bit of the games, and then switched to 60 frames, and I was like, wow, that was absolutely incredible. And I didn't even have to reload; it just quick resumed, and it was just turned on, and it was really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a hidden gem, so go play that on Game Pass. Also, I'm addicted to Destiny 2, new season of the Splicer. Just did Vaulted Glass, got to the end, so haven't finished the last boss yet, but looking forward to doing that regularly now. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm playing right now. Well, I'm playing co-op games with you guys as Dan, and so we don't have to kind of tread over that again, but that's been a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely if you
gotta
want to
get
play
serious with ODST.
Yes, yeah.
First match was more like the introduction.
Yeah.
We'll do some firefight. That was actually always my favorite firefight. Halo was the ODST firefight. I'm glad they put that back into the Master Chief Collection. So definitely gotta explore that more.
I think ODST is the most underrated campaign of those Halo games because it's just everyone thinks it's an expansion game. But I will tell you this right now because I know, Jesse, you haven't gotten to finish it.
Nope.
The second half of ODST is just really good form of storytelling from Bungie. One of the best scores from Marty O'Donnell. Absolutely, it's Bungie's B team making a game, and it feels like if you compare to any other game, any other AAA game, it's just right up there. It's fantastic. Yeah. Anyway,
finish this fight.
I look forward to continuing talking about games with you guys and continuing this Xbox North. Journey.
Yeah. Now
that's me holding the world on my head right now.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Your screen is over there, and I'm like, maybe your screen will fall down, something like that. Moving on. Now, we usually do talk about a variety of subjects. We dedicated our first episode to talking about one thing, and that is one thing that we are all excited for, and that's E3. I think right now with all the news that's circulating, E3 for Xbox looks huge. Well, including Bethesda, and
very excited.
I mean, I think every year
it's our Christmas.
It is our Christmas.
Bethesda.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think as I remembered when as soon as we were kids, when we got our systems, especially I think about E3 2004 and how monumental was watching the Zanzibar level of Halo 2 and just all the little all the little chips that Microsoft started putting in, and then the launch of 360, and also even the terrible launch of the Xbox One. But E3 is a big part of Microsoft's history, and that's the best thing to start with our podcast, to discuss about E3. And I wanted to talk about everybody's 5 big predictions of E3. Now, you've all put some time and effort on this, and I really want to hear about these because I think this year is going to be the biggest year for Microsoft. I know I'm just saying that for the hype train, but I think this is the biggest year ever. 20 years.
I would agree.
Yeah.
20-year anniversary of Halo. Halo's coming out this year. First year of Xbox Series X. Yeah, it's let's see the future, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Big time.
And talk about it. Yeah.
Dan,
and predict it.
Yeah. Dan, let's start with you, man. Give us your predictions.
I think they're going to be.
Well, how do you want to do this? Do you want to do one at a time?
I do one each.
Maybe we should do one each.
Yeah.
That way we don't
go rotating.
Yeah. Let's do one each. Dan, you start.
All right. So I think they're gonna probably Xbox is gonna probably get at least one more studio
Okay.
jumping on the bandwagon there. I think it's probably gonna be Ubisoft.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
Like, are you talking about like a deal like they have with EA Play?
You think like a full acquisition?
Yeah, I think like something like that at least. Like they're gonna become associated somehow. Like they're gonna at least just start getting like more Ubisoft games on there, promoting that, or like yeah, like you're
They would-
saying,
yeah.
like Bethesda or whatever. They might even just straight up or probably more like EA. Sorry, not like Bethesda. I don't think they're gonna outright acquire Ubisoft anytime soon. But but yeah, I think they'll probably EA Access. At least have like another tier of Game Pass or something, or just have it inclusive
Well,
there.
they have their own. I forget the name of their
It's
service.
Ubisoft Plus, I think, right?
Yeah, or something like that.
Uplay.
So
Or
I could totally see that. Yeah, you were saying integrate it into Game Pass itself, kind of like the EA Play. I'm curious if they would, charge an extra little bit for that particular.
Yeah, that's what I was
Because I
thinking.
know
Is
on their
is it going to be
service-
another tier of Xbox Game Pass and have Ubisoft Game Pass or something, or have
It's the perfect
because they
platform.
could even have it.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
like
with,
they right all their titles that they have. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. They could have it with EA or whatever, and EA is already the kind of the pilot, so they're already just a part of that. But you could always have Ubisoft Game Pass or whatever Game Pass, and just have that included into the Game Pass store basically for you, because that's where they're pulling all the game streams from and everything too. Is get that in on the ground floor for that stuff.
Well, considering they just announced that they are going to go more of the free-to-play market and their games are very heavily monetized, for a person like me, you put Assassin's Creed on there, and let's say I like it so much, you know what? I'm going to buy the expansion pass that comes out for it. That's extra $20 in their pockets that they would have never gotten from me at all.
Yep.
So, and I'm... especially with Game Pass these days, it's kind of hard to, and being a father, it's hard to put up a lot of money for a lot of different games. And Ubisoft games are good, but they don't attract me so much to them.
Yeah.
Especially when they are annual franchises every year. But if they're on Game Pass, I think I would. I would say the majority of the Assassin's Creed I've played have been through the Xbox Gold program that they've given away for free. So
it's a good point because most Ubisoft games are loaded with content. So you really go through one playthrough. You play everything that you can, and you pretty much are done with that game because they're going to have something else the following year or in a couple of months because of all the studios that they have. It's a good point. That would work really good in Game Pass because then you're not having to the paywall's a lot smaller so that you can get in and replay these games, and the replay value, instead of the one and done, it's they're going to keep, because they know that that's the type of game that they make very big games with a heck of a lot of content and maybe not so much replay value. That's not a bad thing. That's just you get so saturated with the game that you know what I mean. You've had your fill with the Ubisoft game.
It brings in the impulse purchase, right? I'm playing, let's say, Immortal Phoenix Rising. Let's say they put that on Game Pass or something.
That's perfect.
And I'm loving it. I beat the game, and they added all this extra content. Here, take my $20.
Yep,
I'll grab it.
DLC, right?
Yeah, and I find that's almost like tipping them, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The thing that I'm looking forward to is not their new games on Game Pass, but maybe the Splinter Cell collection on with HDR and an FPS boost. I would just want that. I
classic.
Classic, great, Xbox franchise for, well, even though it's on other platforms, I always say Splinter Cell's an Xbox thing for sure. And Yes,
green dots, when it came out. Like,
yeah.
come
Oh
on.
yeah, big time.
Goes too well with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I
hand
almost
in
feel
hand,
like they made it green for Xbox.
right?
Yeah.
Went
Like,
hand in hand.
Yeah. For me,
Great games,
it's
by the way, too. Splinter Cell. What a great franchise. I would
I'd
love to see a
their
reboot of that.
legacy.
Yeah.
Like that would
And
be,
when they put it on, Game Pass, it goes on the cloud as well. So
Yep.
That would be a lot of
that just exposes their rich catalog to their cloud service and to all the and they can put on screen controls. Kids these days, that's how they play games, is with on screen controls.
Yep.
So if they can expose a generation to their classics, it just let's say you were saying the whole Splinter Cell franchise is on there. It definitely makes the next Splinter Cell game a lot easier to green light when they can see the metrics on Game Pass that, oh, look at all these people playing our classic Splinter Cell game, which I love the multiplayer for that, the Spies versus Mercs.
I was one. Yeah, second one right there. Was it? I want to say the second one's Pandora Tomorrow.
No,
I feel like it's Pandora Tomorrow.
The third one was Chaos
Was
Theory.
it
I
Splinter
think
Cell?
the fourth one was
Chaos
Pandora
Theory.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Double Agent. I don't know why.
I think
I might
Double
be wrong.
Agent was after Pandora Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, yeah. No, I think you play. Great idea. I think it looks like it's probably in the cards for the fall, but it's going to be a pretty good acquisition or some sort of deal in place. What about you, Josh?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, partnership.
That's what I was thinking. More than acquisitions is more partnerships, because they need more partnerships rather than just totally taking over companies. They could have a lot more partnerships. I mean, they could have an amazing partnership with Sega as well, right? And then there's the Konami. Let me not go too far, just in case.
Especially with Konami. Yeah, let's not talk about Konami. Fuck Konami.
Not yet.
Excuse my language. Sorry. Oh, I just swore in our podcast.
No, not Konami. Kojima.
Reading you out of
Kojima,
everything,
Kojima.
Niche.
Yeah, we'll edit it
My
out.
bad.
No, it's my fault. Josh, what
Just
about you?
license out your properties. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, prediction. All right. So, one of my predictions. So, my first one is finally we will get, after waiting forever, and it's funny because it's not something I'm going to play, but we'll finally get Final Fantasy 14 will be announced for Xbox One and also Xbox Series console, and it'll be coming to Game Pass day one with exclusive Xbox content.
Yep.
This year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it is coming out this year, right? I mean, Endwalker?
Endwalker, there's a big expansion pack coming out at the end of end of this year. So, and you know what? I wouldn't mind diving, if it does go on Game Pass, I wouldn't mind diving into it, because the last two expansions, apparently from the reviews, they've given it like 9, 10. They say it's the best Final Fantasy story going on in Final Fantasy right now.
Yeah.
There's a huge player base, with crossplay becoming more broad, and they're a lot more lax on obviously their updates for the console. I think that would be a huge get for Game Pass as a service, and a huge get for Square as well, and for that community to kind of grow and get a huge influx of players. Like, imagine Endwalker comes out and it drops on Game Pass day one. Like, how many millions of players are flocking to that MMO day one?
Yeah.
Right there. You know, look what it did for Destiny. So they could even show
Big
those
time.
metrics to Square, or what it did for Outriders right there. So Square even lived it, right?
So they can do that 10-year plan like they had Destiny, because they threw it in a Game Pass. That game will last another couple of years easily.
Well, I buy this. I've bought in the
easily.
last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've gotten some money out of me.
Yep.
Already. So, and that's all been funded through Microsoft points. So Microsoft points for the win.
Wow.
Oh,
On that, but
well, Jesse, how about you? Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, would any of you be trying out the game? Let's say if it did. Game Pass.
I'd give it a shot. I mean, it's got like a pretty high viewership, and the ratings are really good. And I think I mean, quite a few of my friends, because it's also on PC. I've seen some folks playing it on PC, and I've seen some. If they do crossplay, I definitely have a few PS4 friends playing it right now. The thing about MMOs is just that I always feel like I flock over to it and then I play it for like a month or two, but I don't, or like I play it really well for like a month and then just never even look back. If there's an expansion, I might even kind of consider it. So that's the problem.
Yeah, it would depend on the format of the game, because with me, is like what I was explaining to you guys, it's very hard for me to jump in very old games with an extreme amount of content because I'm just overwhelmed by it. And like RPGs are my bread and butter, so I like to be immersed in worlds and stuff like that, especially if it's an MMO that I'm gonna spend time in. I need to know about the world, and like I don't have a history with that game whatsoever, so I would play it for sure, but I probably would try it out and be like, yeah, this is kind of fun, but then at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to get into it, and that was just like ESO. I have an ESO character, and it's a good fun game, but I couldn't continue on just because I didn't start from the beginning, and that's just the type of person that I am.
That was the one that I actually got into more. I find like the biggest problem for me is like the time constraint. It's like a lot of the MMOs is like there's a lot to learn and everything. Even with Destiny, it's like I'm just scratching the surface of like some of the higher end stuff, and like I'm kind of getting there, but like it's so hard to invest that much time into it to learn all that stuff.
I had my my experience with World of Warcraft, and that one.
Yes.
I got a lot of experience with MMO through that one, right? That that one.
You want to play some Warcraft?
Right? Oh yeah.
Or there's that South Park thing with the guy that's like.
I would say my
who, cosplayed as him.
Oh,
got
really?
famous.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Sad.
I don't know if it's so much a prediction, just more like something I want to see and I hope I see. I believe that Fable is a little bit more complete than we think, and I think we're going to see gameplay footage of Fable and a release date. I think it's going to be early next year, because they need to get out that game, and they need to put games into Game Pass, and we'll find out this E3 which games are coming. All we know is pretty much we know that Halo is for certain coming out this year. For certain. They are releasing that unless there's a catastrophe, of course, right? But for certain
we're gonna see Fable.
Yeah. Yep. Gameplay footage of Fable. Yeah.
And a release date.
And
You're saying
a release
early
date
next year?
I'd say maybe April, May.
Oh.
Yeah, around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I think you're right with the Fable being a lot more further along than we think.
Yeah.
A lot of people in other podcasts I've listened to, they've kind of hinted to the fact that particular game is a lot further along than we think.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to see that game.
Yep.
We need to see it in motion.
Exactly.
I'd love to see in that game weather changes,
style,
like season changes, like
right?
like Forza Horizon.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you gotta
run in a Forza tech.
You gotta imagine that that team hasn't been working on a game since Forza, right? And the team gets smaller to work on the little bit of DLCs and that Horizon had, right? So
two teams now.
Oh,
There are
it's two teams.
Oh,
yeah, it's a 2-team studio now.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So it's a completely it's a team built from the ground up within the studio for
using the engine.
Have, like
Yeah.
and they have like veteran people on the team itself. And if you think about it, their engine kind of scales. Theoretically, you can say could scale to an RPG like engine, because they introduced a lot RPG like mechanics in Forza, tweaking the engine, tweaking your stats. There was perks and stuff that you could get for individual cars. So I feel like that stuff is almost there already.
Yeah.
It's just coming up with a third person mechanic.
If it's going to be third person, right? What if it's a first person Halo?
Blasphemy.
Yeah, it's got to be third. It's got to be third.
No way.
I'd
No
say,
way.
and then
It has to be
have
third.
kind of
I want
like
to see my horns grow. You know?
exactly. Yeah,
You know, I
it
wanna
has
get
to be
evil.
third person. I mean, right, has to be.
Yeah.
And like
I
sorry.
no, go Andrew.
I want to kick chickens. I want to kick chickens.
Of
Yes.
course,
We all
yeah.
want to kick chicken.
So I don't know if this is cheating, and I apologize, right? I know but I do have kind of another one, and I'm sticking to my guns because sorry. Yeah,
Andrew's
go ahead.
gonna go
I
next.
don't have a prediction.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, you're talking about one RPG, but where everyone's hearing about this remake that's happening, but I think there's another remake to this. It's KOTOR remake that's already being talked about, but I think the Sith Lords, Obsidian's first ever game, which was a sequel to KOTOR, which was kind of a broken game.
Obsidian,
if you ever remember. Yeah, Obsidian.
Sith Lords
Sith
was
Lord?
Obsidian's first game?
Yeah, that was their first ever game.
Are you sure about that?
No. Oh.
No,
No
they did
way.
Neverwinter Nights 2.
Yeah, they did Neverwinter before.
Yeah, no. Obsidian's been back. Obsidian comes from the 90s, man. They're in the 90s, bro. Pretty sure.
No. Obsidian was made. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yep.
Obsidian was built at 2003.
Okay.
This is look it up, and their first ever game was an Xbox exclusive called Star Wars: Knights of the Republic 2: The Sith Lords.
Wow.
You can look it up. Yeah, that's where they started. Look it up, guys.
Yeah, he's right.
And
wow.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. I'm shocked. I never knew
Obsidian
that.
opened the doors in 2003,
Awesome.
shortly
Yeah.
after Black Isle closed.
And they made that game in 9
Yes,
months.
that's right.
They made that game in 9 months. So
9 months.
LucasArts
How
pushed
is that their first game?
I can't
I
believe it.
suppose.
it just shows you how talented that team is.
Yeah.
And what an amazing purchase that Microsoft
And
made.
they are
yeah.
like generally
yeah.
the same team, you know. They're the same, you know what I mean?
Well, now
So what were you saying? Like you think they
I
are?
think there's going to be a remake where they're going to produce it and it'll get some sort of like remake team to do it, but they're going to do the Sith Lords with an updated engine because it just looks like a perfect remake of a game.
Yeah.
And it just looks like there's a lot of Star Wars that's coming away from Microsoft. You're hearing all this these Lucasfilm deals being made, and I just feel like, oh, this is perfect. They already have a game that they've already made. And even though it was very good, my original Xbox actually broke down from this game. And I remember never playing it after this. And then I had to buy an Xbox 360 at 2005 immediately because Knights of the Republic 2, The Sith Lords broke my original Xbox. So I just feel like it's in full circle that I need this remake and I want this. That's my wish.
Well, I think you know, it would be very cool to see them do either HD remastered. I would love to see, but I'd love to see a sequel to that game because I feel like it ended in such a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Especially the second one.
They had to cut some stuff out. It was because LucasArts
9 months you're saying, but I guarantee you there's a script somewhere in their office of something that they could adapt based off of, obviously the constraints Disney would put on the lore that they would get them to use. But no, I think if there is a team within Microsoft that is going to do a Disney Star Wars franchise, it's Obsidian.
Yeah.
Obsidian would be the first I would talk to.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I've always dreamt of a Bethesda Maryland style Star Wars game, man. You know what I mean? Like a literal Bethesda game style Star Wars game.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I've always
like a
wanted one of those
Skyrim-ish.
too,
Yep.
I can see that for sure. I can see. I mean, I feel like the rumor is that Microsoft's doing the Star Wars route, right? They're doing a lot of licensing of Star Wars games, and I feel like if Bethesda is like making a couple of games, there's got to be a bunch of teams. I mean, if you think about the fact that they have Arcane now, Arcane could probably make a nice a Sith assassin game or something like that, like an Acolyte
That'd
game.
be cool.
You got id Software, so maybe like a Republic Commando 2. Fun fact, Halo 5, the game director directed Republic Commando, which was
nice,
an amazing original Xbox.
Was absolutely, and the atmosphere, right? Having the helmet, the helmet view, the HUD, it was really good. I really liked that game.
Yeah.
I don't think he's with 3-4 anymore.
No, I'm sure there's many people that leave in 343.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
it's a lot of people leaving 343. Hopefully, I just hope Halo Infinite's good, but I don't want to talk about that. That's a different episode because I just like what? Sorry, go ahead.
I just think it's a part of the industry. I think they've completed what they had to do, and that was the last project they maybe wanted to be a part of. 343. They've wanted to expand their horizons and get out of the Halo hamster wheel that they've been in, I guess, and you know, and that's
Also,
good and
it's
fine.
COVID, right? Like
Yep.
it's been a crazy year and a half.
Yeah,
so,
that's the anomaly.
people
That's the anomaly.
reassess things.
Yeah, in everything,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And all these dates, all these game release dates. That's always the that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Second prediction, Dan. What's your second prediction?
Oh man. Well, good question. I got basically probably like there's been lots of talk about Nintendo bringing stuff to Game Pass or like potential like them becoming a part of it or something like that. I'm mostly just hoping at some point we'll hear something about like Breath of the Wild coming to Game Pass or something
Oh,
like
wow.
that. That's the one game I really want to play.
Yeah,
But like I haven't invested in the Switch just yet or anything, so like that's one I'd love to see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they'd announce it this year or anything. I think there's a lot of talk about it. They might start to hint about something Nintendo related.
Oh man, can I pick up?
Yeah, you take off that.
So the Switch Pro, right? So people that you're hearing mumblings about a Switch Pro. This is just throwing it out there, right? If Microsoft, if Nintendo is more open to have maybe Game Pass on their console, what if what Nintendo is announcing is the return to form of your traditional console? They're making an actual console instead of a handheld, and then therefore you play a lot more Game Pass games and all that. Or do you think they're going to stay with the handheld model?
I think they got to stay with that.
Yeah,
I feel like they want to stay in handheld.
That's
I
like
don't
the
know
one
why.
thing they excel at the
The
most
Game
and
Boys,
everything.
the Game Boys, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
But-
like there's no other console really that's like that
No,
just yet, other than
no.
like cloud gaming.
exactly.
But that's just starting, so
But I could see maybe on Game Pass, like you were saying, like something like if Breath of the Wild came,
Mhm.
I could see Game Pass coming to the Switch, but I could see maybe a section on Game Pass, kind of like EA, like you were the last thing you were saying about Ubisoft. I could see them possibly doing something like that if they can get a property. I don't see Breath of the Wild. I could see them maybe getting something like Animal Crossing, or maybe even Mario Kart. Something that's more of a gateway drug to
bring back Mario Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something that's a little bit more of a gateway drug to the Switch platform.
Exactly. To get
give them
there.
a little taste.
You can try it on here, but guess what? Your full experience is with us. You want to play Breath of the Wild and number 2, boom. Yeah.
Or forcing them to sign into like the only way to play these Nintendo games on Game Pass is you have to have a Nintendo Network account as well. And you have to log into the Nintendo Network account while playing them. But I could see them doing something like that. But Microsoft must be like, hey, you want to use our servers? We'll give you like half the price or something. Like they have to have something because
well, they're investing hard in their servers, man. Like they're making it worth it for businesses everywhere. Like from my end, like that's like all we use right now. It's just like you need a new server spun up, they can do it super quick. They can give you as much power as you need and everything, and you can kind of go from there.
There's already certain Switch games that are using cloud right now, like Control.
Yeah.
And
this is all going to lead into my next prediction.
Oh, wait, your turn. Yeah.
I gotta wait my turn.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We were doing side swips. Yeah. All right, I'll go to my right. Well, even though whoever it is, but Josh, give me one.
All right, so we're gonna see a beloved, absolute beloved franchise come back. It's going to be
Tetris.
Well,
Yes,
we're gonna see.
I love Tetris.
We're gonna see Banjo-Kazooie come back.
Yeah.
It will be announced, and it will be made by Playtonic, the people who made Ukulele and the side scroller Ukulele. That will be their next game. It will be kind of in the same vein, and not in the sense of like gameplay and how the game was structured, but in the same publishing vein of the Battletoads game they did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not Playtonic, but that they came out with not too long ago. Hopefully, a better product. But I could see definitely ID, kind of like an ID at Xbox, but third-party publishing deal with Playtonic specifically. I think if Playtonic comes out and it's them, it's the same people who did Banjo-Kazooie with the Rare logo in the beginning as well, in association with Rare, in association with Xbox. Get that nostalgia feel going, bring back Banjo-Kazooie. We already got the new look for him in the new Smash Brothers update, so I think that Smash Brothers was a tease of this is how our character model looks. And we're gonna see the game, and I think we're gonna be kind of shocked on how finished it looks.
Good rival to the upcoming Ratchet and Clank too. Even though it'll probably be a ways off.
We need a side scroller, right?
Yeah, we need a side scroller or even a platformer.
Yep.
I think
that's just it. Like,
in general, right?
It's interesting seeing how much it's changed. Like, could you imagine just somebody releasing a brand new like Banjo-Kazooie type game now and like playing it the same way that it's played right now, just with the graphics we've got?
Yeah,
it's like it would be a lot different.
Yeah,
it's like the feel of it is strange how different it's been from like when I remember when I was little, especially on like N64 stuff and everything, and like the feel of it now. It's like it's just changed a lot.
No. And I feel like platformers are kind of getting a little renaissance right now. Ratchet and Clank, a bunch of side scrollers, Ukulele. Even the fact that got funded in general just shows that they're, and Nintendo has never, slowed down on the platformer front, and they just keep on showing that they're relevant games. And I think we need a family-friendly game for
big time.
Xbox.
I'd love to see
my
son
play Super Lucky Tales
or my daughter playing. Yeah, no, I beat that game.
Nice.
I didn't hate it.
That came with my VR headset.
Or as my daughter calls it, the Fox game.
My son loves the Fox game. It's funny because he has a little Fox toy that he loves. So and when you mentioned the, what was it? You can play also with your kid. You were saying, Dan?
Oh, the Disney one?
Yeah.
No, you're saying you can control the game as well?
Oh, Copilot.
Really?
Copilot's the best feature for kids, because like you basically assign two controllers to one like in-game controller, so that you can help them like direct them, you can help like
of course
like unlock stuff or do things. Like right now, like because my youngest is like 3, and like she right now she knows the letters. Mostly, she knows which ones are in her name for sure, but like she wants to pick out like the colors and stuff. Sometimes like they're not thinking about like the letters so much and everything too. So like you get them to pick out the colored buttons, and like you can help them along and everything too. So it's just a nice little feature.
And I think Banjo would be the franchise that could be the face of Game Pass to kind of bring in parents to be like, hey, here's this $300 console.
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie, it's got Minecraft on there. You don't, So I think Banjo-Kazooie is coming. I feel like Banjo-Kazooie is coming. If we're not going to see it, we're going to see a title card.
What platform was it? I remember Retro Arcade. And like, was that a part of Xbox at one point where it was just like retro, like it was a retro game
The
store
Rare
basically?
Replay.
Yeah, something like that.
Rare Replay. Yeah, Rare
Yeah.
Replay. Yeah, that had like
Yeah,
25 titles or something like that.
Yeah,
and it
super
had all
old
the
games and
banjos.
everything, and
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, we need this. Yeah, Jesse, give us.
Maybe all
Yeah.
the nostalgic
Yeah,
games.
the juicy one you were saying.
It's a crazy one, but I have to because it matters. E3 matters. This game relies on E3. I'm going with Starfield being showcased at E3, released 2021 this holiday season. I'm sticking to it. I don't care. If we see the game at E3, it's coming out very shortly. Otherwise, we're not seeing that game at E3. We might see some trailer or something like that, but they're not going to showcase that game yet. Especially if you're going to say and say that it's still over a year off. No, you're not showing that game and it's over a year off. Not Bethesda. If that's what they're actually saying, Bethesda will not show a game that's almost a year off. That's just absurd to me. That's never been in their practice. They've never done that before. So, Starfield E3 2021. There it is.
I'd be excited for that.
Yeah.
Dan?
I just want it.
Yeah, me too.
I just
That's
played
why
it. I
that's a fan
just love
saying
Bethesda
that.
games.
That's
I'm
a
just like,
fan, and I'm ready
just
for another
sit there
Bethesda. Right? I was playing. I tried to play Fallout not too long ago to get back into the Bethesda games and Skyrim, and it's just like, no, I'm ready. I'm ready for a full-fledged.
And I started with Morrowind, and I got it on my PC, and I just like all I remember is the awesome building tools they had
Morrowind on
for it
Xbox.
and everything too.
Yeah,
like
Morrowind
you
on
could just
Xbox.
like just start throwing stuff together. Like, oh yeah, no, I just implanted this massive castle into the game, and it's mine.
You
Like, and then,
you know why I think you're. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
A massive cat. But you know why I think you're right, Jess, about this year is because that article comes out saying, they were working on 76 until this point, but like when they were making 76, weren't all the articles coming out at the time saying it's this other team?
Yeah, it's the other team. That's conflicting with
the
reports.
main team is making Starfield at this time, so they have nothing to do with that project. So
then,
like, where's this whole thing coming from?
So then we should really be mad at Bethesda Maryland for making 76, right? No, that's not the narrative, right? Exactly, that's not the narrative.
I feel like we were just starting to get a win, and they're just like, no.
Yeah. Todd Howard's like, no, we got to give them some other information. We need this to be the surprise, Yeah.
I mean, the biggest one that like a lot of people aren't talking about is that they're purchasing a lot of ads for it for this year, and that is usually a big sign because you don't purchase a bunch of ads.
The copyright, guys, the copyright, the the property is released 2021. It's there. Why would you release a game in 2022 if your copyright's in 2021? In the history of that format, it is standard to release the game, the copyright that the year the copy. Oh wow, let me rethink. Release the game in the same year you get the copyright. It's the same thing in music, right? When I have to get a song copyrighted, I can't copyright it for 2024. That's not when I created it. I created it. I'm releasing it on Spotify in 2021, and that's what I have to make the copyright. It's about protections, and you're not going to make a copyright unless that game or that property is coming out, or it's a continuing series, and you would see copyright of 1998, 2001, 2007, and then 2020, something like that, right? Because it's marking all the copyrights that the property had come out in, because it's about law. You're getting into law then, right? And so why would you file a copyright patent for a game that's not coming out until next year? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
And you would probably already hear about the 2022 one that has to be filed. So no, I agree.
Doesn't make any sense. Plus, not only that, the patent, the trade, the patent that they own in order to release a project, that is up in March. They cannot go past that, otherwise they can risk any guy waiting at the patent office being like, okay, Starfield, run out.
Oh, like the name. Oh, okay,
Yes,
yeah, like
yes,
the trademark. The
right.
name,
That
yeah, the
trademark,
name,
that'll
yeah.
run out by 2022 next year. It'll be done. That means that they'll have to put money into No. I can't. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, and that's okay. That's only a fan that's really excited, that wants to play this game, who knows very little about the industry, right? There it is.
Yeah.
But I still all the conflicting reports, it just doesn't match up. It 2020, it's going to
Definitely a
come
lot
out
of
this
money
year.
invested either way. It's
Yeah.
like, so like,
Yeah.
just release it, okay,
Yeah.
Bethesda?
Yeah.
Yeah, stop
Well,
coming.
And
Just
the
not like
years of
Cyberpunk,
hearing-
please, for the love of everything that is gaming, right? Just do not do that, because I am triggered
Well,
by that game.
Still played it. It was still pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
PC
good.
I was like part of the reason I love Bethesda is like just all the bugs that do happen. Like some of the reason, I'm not gonna lie, that I wanted to play Cyberpunk, I was kind of hoping for some weird genital action or something flying around out of the pants or something, just
which happened,
something nonsensical.
which absolutely happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
But
man.
I feel like their
Okay,
core
perfect.
team at Bethesda, they've been working with each other for so long, even though COVID did probably, I would imagine that this game might have been in our hands already at this point, if not for COVID.
Yeah.
But
Yep. That's what the reports are saying.
They were already fishing the game around as an exclusive game. Sony passed on it, so there was probably already a deal in place even before the purchase of Bethesda for it being exclusive on Xbox. So that conversation is obviously out the window. But I feel like their core team is they know what they're doing. Like they must have some programmers that their turnover rate is so small in that studio that they must have some programmers that have been with the company for so long.
Yeah, some of them left
guys
after that.
Even if
even
if they're working from home, they can get stuff done, right?
Yep.
There's high level. There's been over the past couple of months about 10 people have left Bethesda because they wrapped up their contract for Starfield. And you're trying to tell me that this game is going to go another year and a half. Why? Why do you need another year and a half after letting go all your thing? You've been already hiring QA testers. You're going to QA test for a year and a half? Why? Why do you need to do that?
Because Cyberpunk scared them off.
I know that Cyberpunk's scaring everybody, right? But it's just
that's the only reason I could see them not releasing it. It's just like some like making sure it's as finished as they can be, like learning from these other games that have been pushed out too soon, and like some of them do recover still. Like No Man's Sky is still doing great now. Like
best improved game
I got
ever.
it day one, and like I was just basically waiting. Was like I liked what they were talking about.
Thing about No Man's Sky is so I don't know. I only know because I played it when it came out on the Xbox, right? Because I never played it when it released on the PlayStation. Was it a buggy title or it just was lacking the content?
So it was lacking the stuff that they showed.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it was just like it wasn't as complete as it should have been.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of features that he basically said
100%.
Like we'll have these eventually, but
so Cyberpunk totally did the No Man's Sky. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, so they're all scared, especially another space game coming out, or like a sci-fi game, and they're just
back,
like,
guys.
No.
One sec.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe I can move on to my little prediction. I think Dan was talking about acquisitions. I want to add in an acquisition, but I just think Microsoft might actually buy partial parts of Warner Brothers Interactive. They're on sale.
Yeah.
I can see either NetherRealm, maybe Rocksteady, Avalanche, a few of those studios.
Mm-hmm.
Warner Brothers is in a lot of debt right now.
Yep, I could see that. I could 100% see that Warner Brother. Those rumblings have been coming up. Yeah.
I can definitely see it. Well, I can definitely see them wanting to purchase this studio. Obviously, they would have to honor what they are currently making right now, as we know what Rockstar is making. We presume what NetherRealm is making, either a Mortal Kombat game or an Injustice game. Actually, there's rumors that they're making a Marvel game, which
Mhm.
is interesting, considering Warner Brothers, right? But if it sells, it sells, I would imagine. But if they could get NetherRealm, we're
Perfect.
talking NetherRealm.
Yeah.
We need a studio that is I feel like PlayStation has a corner in that market, and it's the fighting game market, and obviously the JRPG market. But
Yeah.
the fighting game market is, where they strive. And imagine if, one, if you buy NetherRealm, they would probably obtain the Mortal Kombat license for video games, probably not for movies. Obviously, there's a franchise going on with that. But if they can retain the Mortal Kombat franchise rights and the studio that makes them, that means when Sony, who purchased Evo, they could even be like, hey, you want the next Mortal Kombat game at Evo?
Mhm. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
debut and kind of have that part of the fighting game world, which Mortal Kombat is a huge franchise in their pocket. So I think that would be huge.
Yep.
Do you think what studio, Andrew, out of let's say out of all of them that they have, that would entice you the most out of
For me,
possibility of acquisition, as you were saying?
I think it's going to be either down to two studios, Monolith, which done Fear, which was a really good FPS game. If you guys haven't played it a while ago, and then obviously they've done the Shadow of Mordor games, which I just think Microsoft kind of needs a little bit more of those third-person action adventure games, and I think like a studio like Monolith would be perfect for it. And then the other ones, they got Avalanche Software, which makes a bunch of kids games. They made like Disney. I want to say they made Disney Infinity, and I feel like Microsoft will want some sort of team that kind of has like that can make kids games, and they can make multiple kids games. I think something like that. I can see them buying like an acquisition for casual, like a casual development studio, and I think it's one of those.
So
One of
like
those
Doom,
two.
but with less evil Barney.
What's on your
Well, he was
what's
saying
on your
that the
ahead.
Warner Brothers acquisition, what studio out of that could Microsoft potentially buy or get? I was saying NetherRealms would be the best get. Any studio that has IP attached to them, like
Exactly.
Monolith's Fear franchise attached to them,
Fear.
or NetherRealm's Mortal Kombat franchise.
You remember Condemned?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
That
an
was a good game.
360.
Who made
That was
Condemned?
Monolith.
Was that Monolith?
Yep. Right after Fear.
See?
Yeah.
And that was
Great.
an Xbox exclusive game,
Yep.
right?
Yes, it was 360. Yep.
Fantastic.
I loved it.
remember that game
that would work so good in
scared
there. Oh,
Crap at me.
yeah.
Oh, and if
It
they
would work
purchase
so well.
Monolith, they could make another one in that franchise.
Yeah.
I feel like the studios that have franchise attached to them before they got purchased by Warner Brothers, or that have legacy like that, would be the best get for them. It's funny, no one said Rocksteady, which you would think would be the obvious one, but I feel like Monolith and NetherRealms are more value. I just poach all the developers from Rocksteady at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that studio right now. Like they haven't released a game since like 2015 or 2014, and it was the last Arkham game, and now Suicide Squad just got delayed again. And there's talks that I think Warner Brothers doesn't want to admit they're trying to do more live service game. And anytime a game gets branded live service, they get that like that treatment where the press or the media or like all the gaming people just go, "Ooh, no."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
They're a little
Even though
iffy on that.
Everyone's worried about Gotham Knights. They were showing, it has like XP bars and you can revisit this boss again. and everyone's just like, live service, oh no, and they're like, no, it's just a
an
co-op
art.
game, guys.
Microtransactions.
The PR people told us, they told us to say, it's repeatable. You can play it for a whole year.
Oh yeah.
Right? Don't play anything else.
Yeah. That's when you know that's a publisher that wants to be bought because they're worried about money. It was just like Bethesda where they made Fallout 76, so they just seem like the perfect next transaction for them.
You can even see it in Ninja Theory with Bleeding Edge. That game was in development before they got purchased by Microsoft, and you could totally tell that was going to be their monetization game to fund their bigger ambitions.
Yeah.
I think that I hope you're right about that. So fingers crossed.
I'm hoping that too. Yeah. Well,
another.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as we're playing, or at least I was playing Mass Effect. You really forget. We harped on BioWare a lot for their mistakes, and they rightfully made a lot of really bad mistakes. They did. That's why that company isn't the way they are. They used to be. But playing
not the same team,
not
right?
the same team exactly. But
Really
playing Mass Effect and getting back into that universe and just having that first hour, just phenomenal cinematic, original kind of universe. That is one company we actually miss in the mainstream, especially for RPGs, is BioWare. You know what I mean? And there's not really been too many studios except for the Outer World, Obsidian, that has been able to have that same kind of feeling. Vibe. Oh.
Hopefully they turn it around. I believe they'll try to turn it around because
Dragon Age is the next thing they're working on, right? 4.
Yeah.
And Mass Effect.
And
I think
they're making another Mass Effect.
Yeah.
There's a trailer. You can look it up.
Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Andromeda so much. I thought it, like I said, it's the same that I think about Halo 5. I think that just like Halo 5, it was the best gameplay mechanics in terms of how the game functioned and ran, and the implementation of the jetpack and the Mako and everything like that was just so much better. They just, for some reason, that company lost their balance and they couldn't do two of those great things, have a really great story and have that really great game mechanics, right? If you look at Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, it's actually the opposite. The story is what really, just like in Mass Effect 1, it was the story that really, really compelled us to get through some of the tanky controls that were a BioWare game, especially Mass Effect, considering that was one of the first games that had a cover system. And then Gears of War was the other one, right? Cover systems back then were relatively new. They weren't so fleshed out. And then you had and I'm talking about in any sort of RPG, it just was unheard of, right? Having a covered tactical system in an RPG. And so, you really got through their story that, it kind of went opposite when it came to Mass Effect. They got the gameplay well and then weren't able to deliver on other things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with our. How many predictions are we at? Are we at 3 now?
Oh,
so we're at.
I haven't even gotten to my third.
I don't have any more.
So Dan's about to do his third one.
Yep.
Okay, give me your third.
So my third is, and it's funny because it started to kind of evolve just to how I've been thinking about it just now. But game streaming, I think, probably less so this year. This year, I think they're going to finalize their beta testing and maybe announce a release date for the game streaming for iOS and PC and everything. And that's all done through the browser right now, which I really like. Is they kind of snuck around the corner from Apple's big app ban and everything, and they're just like, oh well, we'll just release it on browser then. But I think if not this year, then next year or something, they're going to start releasing it for just just about any browser. It'll start to be compatible with way more like just devices and everything. Like pretty soon you'll be playing it on your smart fridge or something, or like whatever. It's gonna end up being like a Doom scenario, like just people playing that on pregnancy tests and stuff.
All right. Wow.
Can I
that's
add my
crazy.
prediction to your prediction, because it's kind of like a two-parter? But I think xCloud is going to be such an important part on E3. I think we're going to start to see like almost, you know how there's an introduction of a bunch of backward compatibility games that you can just play on streaming that are old. I think we're going to see like 100 more original Xboxes and 360 games that you can just play on your phones and whatnot. I just see that being the case.
It's the only way to reach that. They want to reach 3 billion gamers. They keep on saying, right? So they got to get more stuff on the cloud and more operating systems compatible, more their app in more stores. They need to get it everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And that's kind of been their mentality since Satya Nadella started working as the CEO for Microsoft. We could see it by putting Windows on iOS, right? They all start with that. So they are more forward thinking in the sense of, if they can get it onto that platform, they would put it on that platform. Just like they said, when they acquired Bethesda, is you want these games? These games will exist on platforms where Game Pass exists. His wording was so specific.
Yeah.
He didn't say,
were you confused? Because I wasn't.
No. And you know what? Starfield can come on PlayStation.
Game Pass.
Put Game Pass on
PlayStation.
On PlayStation.
Yeah. Game Pass on PlayStation. Right.
So I just don't see Sony ever doing it.
No.
I see
never
doing it.
I think at some point they're gonna have to, like, if it becomes big enough, either they have to have their own service for it, or they're gonna have to combine. And like at some point, it's gonna be like a big celebratory thing, like crossplay will be a thing.
That's gonna be hard for them because they are making most of the majority of their money on consoles. Well, not consoles; they're losing on that, but games and peripherals,
services.
right? Like and accessories. That's how they make their money. They make their money on game sales and all the little stuff that goes with it, the gadget and the store and everything like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how are they going to start making money to pay for a service like Game Pass? Because Game Pass, I don't think it's profitable right now. It might be, but they're probably at a loss right now, especially if they're giving these company money to be on their service. So they're paying the company to be on their service. Yes, they might get something out of it, but still they're putting out money to, you know what I mean? Just like they're giving us these consoles as the entry point into where they are going to start making profit, right? They don't make profits on the consoles.
Did you hear too that
themselves.
they even just recently changed the ratio that like Microsoft's getting from Game Pass stuff?
Yeah.
They're actually giving more to the developers now.
Yep.
They've gone from like 30% of the revenue and everything to like 18%, I think it was.
Yeah.
Well, it's not Game Pass specific. It's their Microsoft game store on Windows is going the Epic route, and there was documentation that they might do the same thing in the Xbox store. Because man, if they did in the Xbox store, it's kind of all over from there. But to kind of play off what Dan's prediction was, well, considering I'm after Dan, it kind of plays off what he was saying. But I believe that Xbox, they are going to announce that the cloud infrastructure will be the Xbox Series X. Finally, and you'll be getting all the benefits from the Series X, and it'll be maybe not 4K. The game will display in 4K because it will be running off the Series X, but it will be probably 1080p. And I think they'll come out with their own standalone streaming tier, which will be like $6.99, and they will, you were saying, announce for smart TVs and all that. So kind of piggybacking off of that, of what you said, Dan, If they can announce that just streaming tier, that's how you get the 3 billion players.
Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
good prediction too, because I believe that that's the next step for them, is starting to really, okay, we have Game Pass. You guys have been playing it pretty, it's been really, really hitting it home this year, right? As the consoles released and as the things that were coming out for it. Now this is the next step. I could see that. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Josh, give me your prediction.
Well, no, I kind of
Basically
already
it there.
played into that.
Oh,
Yeah, the $6.99 streaming tier.
Yeah.
$6.99 US, probably $7.99 Canadian, or $8.99 knowing for us. But I feel like they need to come out with the standalone streaming tier, because how do you justify a person to buy into the service for their Samsung TV app, or their kid
Buy a controller
playing,
and
playing off
something to
their
hook it up
iPad
to.
or something. Like, it's definitely the lowest. If they want to talk about the lowest bar of entry, that's the lowest bar of entry in the gaming period right there.
Yeah.
Now the one thing is, I guess it has to be
console gaming.
dependent. It has to be dependent on if you can get a Bluetooth connection, because right now all the controllers are Bluetooth connected.
On
But
screen though. They
that
got the
brings to
on-screen
mind,
control.
what if they just release like a Wi-Fi controller, and that's your just connection to the server? As long as it's got an internet connection and it connects to your account somehow.
Yeah.
Oh,
think
that
their
would be
next
easy.
controller
Well,
would
it wouldn't be
have-
easy, but that's you could see that.
It's going
I
to
can
take a
see
team
them
and a half.
do
but-
that. Yeah. Well, no, the Stadia controller does exactly that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
that's
be
basically
easy when I'm
similar to
playing
that.
it in my hand. Oh, this works so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see them doing that in their future controllers, implementing that Wi-Fi direct connection. You probably do it through your console or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, I could see that on your phone.
The next prediction, I'm going to move this one a little bit faster, is game prediction. Everyone is going to give me a surprise E3 game that's going to blow us all away. I'm going to start with one that a lot of people are not talking about, that I know for a fact it should be able to be announced soon. But Bethesda owns a studio called Roundhouse Studios. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but that was the team that made the original Prey. Now, Bethesda bought that team and made a different studio, and they called them obviously Roundhouse Studios. I think they're going to announce some sort of Prey 2 or some interesting shooter that's just going to be a completely new IP, and that's it. I think it's something in the vicinity of this. I'll show you some footage later on of Prey 2 that they were working on that got canceled, but I think that
I remember that.
I think that's going to be it, because it was a 360
Wow.
game that got canceled.
Yeah.
Jesse, what about
Was
you?
it?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's hard. A surprise prediction, surprise game.
Surprise game. Yeah.
My
What's your
first
gut
one
tell you?
that
gut.
was my first one, that we would see more Fable. That was in and itself
No, something we don't know. There's
that
something
we don't know about.
Yeah. Something not discussed. Something just.
It would be what's the studio that used to be Interplay that is now
In Exile.
in Exile?
In Exile.
Let's say they're going with Fallout New Vegas Part 2. Yeah.
See that?
Say Fallout New Vegas Part 2. I don't know if
I
it's
could
going to be at E3.
Yeah. I think Obsidian was the one that did New Vegas.
Because they're supposedly making a
collabing
new
with
game,
Obsidian.
right? They're making a
Yeah.
new game, and we don't know what it is. And why not
There's gonna be
just
Fallout,
get
eh?
on the board with that, right? Why not just get on board with making Fallout games and
Well, it's
see.
in their backyard again,
It's-
right?
right?
It's
It's
in their hands.
right?
all three of them. All
Like,
three
and
studios.
maybe not like. No, it would be a main title. It would be a first party title, wouldn't it? No.
yeah, it's
it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, first party.
I'll go with that.
Josh, what about you?
Well, it is something that I think is a long time coming as well. Just like I was saying, like Banjo-Kazooie, another. But we need Killer Instinct 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need
And you know what? It needs to feature a Nintendo character like Samus.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah.
I would love to see Master Chief and Samus and the Killer Instinct crew just like beating the crap out of each other. I think that would just be so cool. I think the hype, just imagine like, oh God, imagine if it was still like an in-person crowd and they're just like Killer Instinct 2 and then like at the end like Samus's helmet turns on or like her like blaster like turns on or something like that. Like people would flip.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a holy kind of crap moment. And I feel like what Jess from Windows Central was teasing with the Typhoon. I don't know how it will work in the story of Killer Instinct, but I feel like that was what he was teasing about. I feel like Killer Instinct 2 is coming, and we need to see that.
Yeah. I mean, come on, it's a part 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like how old that franchise is.
Well, they supported the one on Xbox One for a while, right?
Yeah.
Like that had enough DLC.
Oh yeah.
For that game, and there was tons of character. Wasn't Arbiter in the game? Didn't they add like a Gears of War character as well? They have the Battle Toads.
Yep.
Yeah, so I feel like they could expand on that, and you know.
Oh man. It's not fair. It's not fair. I already had. All right, go ahead. I just something popped in my head because you know what I mean. I said I was going off the top, and something popped in my head.
We'll put you last every time. So.
All right, exactly. Pick up on the ideas, right?
Yeah, man, I don't know.
I
really.
do think. Sorry.
What was your gut tell you, Dan?
Oh, sorry.
My gut? Oh, my gut has no idea. It's my best guess is some like I don't know, Crimson Skies 2.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be amazing. But
and you know what? That's not far off. I don't think that is an outrageous thing to say, to be honest. Like, I feel like there is a lot of love for that franchise. I feel like people want that franchise back.
Man.
And I feel like Flight Simulator, there could be a cool, like, little tie-in with it. Let's put the planes from, considering we know Flight Simulator is coming out this summer for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
As they said,
Rogue
right?
Squadrons even, like that, released recently on Game Pass or whatever. Rogue Squadrons?
I had that downloaded forever. Never opened it once.
Yeah,
but
that's the hard
imagine
part.
They
Like,
put the planes from Crimson Skies in Flight Simulator just as like a little
nod to all the Crimson Skies lovers.
I could totally see something Crimson Skies though at E3.
I don't know a single person who's been an Xbox lover for very long that doesn't remember and love Crimson Skies.
Yeah. I rented it from Jumbo
Xbox
Video.
Live games too.
Yeah, I think it was it Mech Assault, and then we had this like long drought of no Xbox Live game, and then it was Crimson Skies that just.
I think Crimson Skies was one of the first. I think it was with Mech Assault. I think it was like one of the launch titles of Xbox Live.
Mech Assault was awesome.
I think so. But you guys are in front of computers, not me. So
yeah, neither. I mean, I am on, but I made sure that I didn't get too stuck on it. Okay. All right. Our last final predictions, and then we can call it a night because we're all trying to get to bed.
I got one too. I got one.
Yeah, but we're gonna get you.
Nobody
last,
says
Jesse.
it either, huh?
We're gonna get you last.
All right, go for it.
Keep it percolating.
I got two more.
If you guys don't if you guys don't say it, and I don't know if you guys will say it because it's a pretty good one, because it has it. Yeah. All right. There we go.
Okay. Fine. It'll be pretty good. All right. Dan, give me one. Give me your last.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give you a short snippet of my last one because I had 5 of these, and I was just so it kind of leads into the other one, the game streaming and everything. And I think not really
All
so
with
much,
the
I guess, an E3 prediction
Our
quite
tech guy.
either, because it'll be just game streaming's gonna provide better internet.
Yeah.
Like just to make that a stable working environment and everything. I think it's coming kind of already, anyways, but I think that's going to contribute to it. And just like
force a bandwidth, like increase of bandwidth.
Yeah, less bandwidth restrictions and everything. Like because like 100% of the time, like I know there's got to be like at least some restricting of like bandwidth for sites other than like speed test sites even and stuff like that. It's like internet service providers are kind of jerks like that. Like there's not a huge reason for it, but they make a lot of money at it to make you buy faster internet and everything, right?
Mhm.
So, but like yeah, I
Well,
think that's going to lead into it a bit. I think the real that just kind of contributes to the other one though. But my actual prediction is going to be that there's going to be more third-party expansion cards for the Series X and
what?
Series S or whatever to make more competitive pricing.
What
Yeah.
expansion for like
Card.
actual
Like
physical
the
changes
cards
on the
slot
unit?
in back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like in the back, there's a slot for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that you
On the
can run
back
the
end.
Series
Like-
S and X games off
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
that you can't do with a regular external drive.
Okay.
Josh is dying.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I didn't hear him.
Could you elaborate on that at all?
So like I just think that there's going to be like right now there's only one of them, right?
Yep.
And like they're gonna to be able to manufacture more. Like there's so many problems right now with like the semiconductors and everything, and like
Yep.
like it's not even so much of a problem. It's just as much as like the demand's hugely increased since COVID. Like there was a little lull in production and everything, and then it's just increased so much in like frequency of people needing more computers and stuff at home.
Yeah.
So like your old PC that was always sitting at home for you to check your email and your Facebook doesn't work so well for work anymore.
No.
Like you just need more devices and everything. And like some of those devices are just entertainment, like Xboxes and everything like that too.
Exactly. Yep.
It's like so like
Uh-oh.
that's going to have more third-party people. Like they're going to have to branch out and start having more companies like building these devices and everything just to make them more available. And then that's going to create more competitive pricing and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they had a license agreement for like the first year or so with Seagate. So yeah, I definitely think you'll see some more like at least a bigger card. You know, bigger than the 1 terabyte.
Yeah,
For
I mean, I'm using the old external hard drive, and it's starting to get there where the other Series X games can't be played on it. So I completely hear from you, Josh. Give me your last bit.
Right. So my last one. I think Microsoft is going to get into the engine licensing business.
Oh yeah.
So I think they're going to
100%.
start
id Tech?
licensing their id Tech, and their Forza Tech engine because I think those two engines are ripe for licensing. I think they're going to talk about licensing the engines on stage.
Yeah.
And upcoming games using that engine. And they can talk about the fruits of like now a lot of people know that Flight Simulator uses the Forza Tech.
Yep.
I didn't even know that until you told me.
So and that's huge.
Yeah.
The satellite data in that game that they use for the engine, the fact that it's branching out to Fable as a third-person action RPG. It has great car mechanics. It has weather effects. So I feel like they have two engines that would only benefit them licensing it out, and I feel like they need to get into that business, and they should.
Yep.
And I think they might announce something like that.
I totally
I'd like
agree.
to say, I'd like to say that I would love to see the EdTech running on other than like FPS games, because I think I've only seen FPS and maybe some third-person games, and I feel like that engine can some of this.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to say didn't Rage 2, but no, Rage was
that was the
Avalanche.
Yeah, that was the Avalanche. So that's
they
why
took they took like the gameplay of Doom-ish, and kind of implemented.
I'm really
into
excited
that
to
engine.
see what the first Unreal Engine 5 game that's going to be released is, because that to me is
Hellblade
at least
2?
in at least in that
I think it might be.
at least in that regard in terms of engine will be our true next gen jump. Yeah, other companies are going to update their engines and incorporate all the next gen features, but like Unreal Engine kind of sets a standard, and a lot of games this generation are going to use Unreal Engine 5, and that's going to determine our step in the right in true next gen. Like once those type of games are now Unreal Engine 5, that's going to be your AAA game, and then obviously later on you had indie titles start using Unreal Engine 4. That'll same thing will happen. You know what I mean? This generation.
And I think because they have access to these engines and they have access to DirectX.
Yep.
I feel like it just makes so much sense to add an engine to that. They own Havoc, they own DirectX.
The super sampling that's going to come out soon that we're going to have on these consoles that Microsoft, the super sampling where it's using a fraction. So something like, I don't know if you guys watched that video, but like a 10 gig like frame, like image, like if it was a game on screen was running about 10 gigs, but using this super sampling, it only used 300 megabytes up to a 1 gig of the memory. And so you can just cram so much more detail, especially when you're going to be zooming in the scopes and stuff like that. You're going to be able to see pores on the guy's skins. Like, just imagine Hitman and
it's direct storage now, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
It's not caching it to the RAM anymore,
right? Oh, that's phenomenal.
That just reminds me of like moving from my old standard definition TV to a high def TV for the first time.
Oh yeah,
and just like watching the difference of like me and my buddy playing in the same room, and just me seeing like a tiny little like dot, like a blurry dot, kind of moving around and everything, and then he gets like a full stick man.
It's so exciting. It is. This generation is the true leap. This is the true leap forward. You know what I mean? I don't feel the last generation made too many strides in terms of graphics. This will be, especially the fact that now they have all that memory to focus on much better AI systems. That's why I think Starfield is going to be revolutionary, is because number one thing Todd Howard is trying to was saying, what needs to update in video games? It's AI. You know, graphics are going to reach to a point, but it's the AI that is the next jump that is really going to be defined. And with these tools, they're going to be able to tap into more memory. Well, not more memory, but the same memory, but better utilize it.
And it's the CPU. Well, it's because they have direct storage now. They can use the CPU to do more complicated processing, like AI, which
is phenomenal.
The direct storage, velocity architecture. What was that? Fidelity FX. These are techniques that no game even out right now is using really. From the ground up, developing it. Where a lot of people were scared that, let's say, even the Series S has not enough RAM. But when you develop a game that is using like not even like a fraction of a gig of RAM. To stream in your textures, your assets,
there's no bottleneck, man.
Then there's no bottleneck at that point, especially if the game is just targeting either a 1080p or a 1440p.
Oh man. And
they can focus on frames and AI.
We're not going to do that this podcast. No, we're not going to do. We'll save that for a couple podcasts before we start making comparisons. But to other things
you were saying.
So the last prediction, guys. Who remembers during early parts of? I don't know if it was a little bit after the Series X console was released and we heard these rumblings after they bought Bethesda. We see this blue and white controller. I think we see a new Sonic the Hedgehog game at E3 and it's exclusive to Xbox. That's what they're working on. That's what Sega and Xbox is working on. That's another prediction. Because although you had all these little hints to that it's going to be
the next Sonic is a joke,
right? Oh no, I can't do that. I don't know.
No, I think you're right though. I think that could be good.
Back to my original story. I'm so sorry. How could I ever, from the beginning, how could I leave out Sonic? Sonic was one of the first games I ever played, right? Because I had a Genesis. So that's what I think. I think that's what all those rumblings are just kind of. If that's not it, then that's perfectly okay, of course.
Well, with the new movie they had not too long ago either,
right? It's time, and Microsoft, they if they can't let's say they can't just straight right out buy Sega. Well, that's another one of those partnerships. Here, put it on Game Pass. We'll help fund this game, no problem. Maybe that's our partnership.
Exactly.
Because they've been throwing out Sonic and little hints and stuff like that, and developers' Twitters and the controller and all that kind of stuff. It's all of a sudden died down, right?
Yeah,
It's
and man,
died
if you get to
down.
the point where like you don't really need the console because of
No.
game streaming anymore,
Exactly.
going to the game
Oh,
past and everything,
exactly.
like
We
man,
need a
Genesis
brand
streaming,
new
Genesis 2 streaming, new Genesis or something. I don't know.
and have like a brand new AAA Sonic the Hedgehog game. You know what I mean? Made really well, like just a really, really well done Sonic game. We need it. We need it again.
I could see Sega releasing like a virtual console and like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe Microsoft can buy them,
I don't know.
make them better. I don't know. We'll see.
Release
I
that
don't-
Dreamcast
There it
finally.
is.
Yeah. Well, there it is,
Good
folks.
one.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we got to call it a night because I
Yeah.
feel like this is based on everybody's past or bad times. But gentlemen, thank you so much for being on
Pleasure.
this podcast.
Finally got it going, man.
We finally got it going. I'm looking forward to our.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Josh. I thought you were. Oh, I'm hearing mouth moves, so I was just like,
Yeah,
Oh.
hello.
Okay. oh, can you
Can
hear
you
us?
hear me?
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
can
there
hear
you
you.
go. All right. There we go.
Okay, there. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I had my phone decided to fall if you didn't notice. So, um,
Thought I just did a backflip.
but yeah,
Okay.
no, that's my talent. My talent is backflips, guys. So, no, it's not. So don't ask me to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, one of many. So
Yeah.
let's get this show on the road, and
Yep.
I look forward to talking to you guys about probably actually what we see and rumors coming up to E3 and yeah.
Let's get an
I look
ODST
forward
date
to-
in there,
We'll get an ODST for sure. For
Full
sure.
streams going. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For
All right,
sure.
gentlemen.
All right, guys.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Peace. Goodbye.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.